Welcome to Connect Vegas. We feature conversations with Las Vegas creators and leaders, learn about their work, and explore our shared love of our favorite city. And now, welcome our host, Ben Laifsky.
Hi, my name is Ben Laifsky, and this is Connect Vegas. Connect Vegas is a podcast featuring conversations with people in business, creativity, and technology in Las Vegas, talking about their work, what led them to that work, and about our shared love of our favorite city. This conversation is with Monica Coburn, who's somebody I really respect and admire. She is the CEO of Nevada Business Advisors. Her mission, her company's mission, is to help other people become successful in their businesses, so helping other people achieve their goals and dreams. She's an extremely giving and knowledgeable person. She's a person with a wealth of experience, and I'm so grateful to have had the chance to have this conversation with her and to share it with you. I hope you enjoy our conversation with Monica Coburn. Hi, and welcome. We're here with Monica Coburn of Nevada Business Advisors. Monica, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Thank you, Ben. Monica Coburn. I am the CEO and Managing Director for Nevada Business Advisors, and we provide professional advice and services to business and organizations who are looking to improve their performance, efficiency, and overall success. So basically, they have a problem, they have an issue, and they are coming to us to help resolve it.
I love that. And can you describe who a typical customer is for you, or what that situation is that leads them to work with you?
Sure. So I would say our typical client is an established business, and we work with a lot of different industries. So I wouldn't say we're industry exclusive. So we work with contractors, manufacturers, professional services, you name it. We touch on a lot of different industries. And so they are established. They are usually in business for at least 3 years. Not necessarily have employees. I would say most do, but they are usually generating at least 500,000 and above in annual revenues. But we also work with startups. So, it doesn't exclude startups at all, but most of our clients are established. They are based in Nevada. So whether they're here in Las Vegas or in Northern Nevada, most of our client base is in the state.
Yeah, that's right. You also go up to Reno quite a bit, you said.
Yes, yeah, we do have clients up in Northern Nevada, which is why we opened an office in Reno in March of this year to help with our clients' needs so that we are boots on the ground and closer to where they need us.
Statewide.
Yes.
How how do you describe the value you provide or the benefits of working with your company?
That is a heavy loaded question, but I'm going to do my best to answer that. We provide both, I would say, tangible and intangible value to our clients. And so, tangible meaning they have a need, they have a problem, and it could be a project that they've asked to for our assistance on. So, whether it be they have a financing need, but they don't know how to navigate finding, a business loan, or it could be they're a woman or minority owned business and they are looking to get certified as a women or minority owned business. So the tangible value is we can help them through that process. And the end result is they get the results. So either they do get their certification approved or we are able to get the financing that they need. Our intangible value is our expertise, our value add. So we can help clients with advice, with guidance, with recommendations. In some cases, we're giving them real life examples, and we are vested in our community. So, a lot of what we do really carries over with every client that we work with. And what I mean by that is it's never a transaction for us. we always look at every client we work with as a relationship. We want to be on that client through their journey. So that's the intangible value. It's not, here's what we charge, collect a check, and we move on. We never want to operate that way.
I love that. And that matches what so many people need as they go through their business. And I'm sure their needs evolve quite a bit.
Absolutely. I mean, you know this as well as I do. Every business is different, but at the core, I think a lot of businesses have the same needs. And in some cases, they don't know what the need is. They know there's an issue. And so we can help unpeel that onion, so to speak, of really what's going on and get to the root of that problem.
That's great. One of the things we like to do is learn a little bit more about our guests. Can you tell us about where you grew up?
Yes. So I am an island girl, as I like to say. I was born and raised in Hawaii, and I was born and raised on Oahu, which is one of the 8 islands, which is also the main island. So grew up very simple beginnings, nothing fancy, wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and was raised in the country. I mean, where I'm from is a small town on the island on the windward side, and literally no traffic lights. I mean, they finally did put one traffic light in the entire city. But yeah, grew up near the ocean, just culturally, people that grow up in Hawaii and are raised in that environment. There's a lot of value like family. Our natural resources are very important to us, loyalty. And so I'm really lucky that I got to grow up in that type of environment. A lot of what and who I am today goes back to where I came from.
Oh, I love that too. Um,
Thank you.
when you were a young person, what were your hobbies and interests? What were you excited about?
Well, okay. Not a lot of people know this. So my friends, most of my friends growing up were boys, and I played sports. So think of kickball, dodgeball, stickball. I mean, you name it, right? There were no video games at the time. It was really like old school type games just to keep you busy and entertained. We had a little stream up the hill from where I lived, and I would go there and catch crayfish. It was crayfish, not crawfish, but very similar. And so I was into that. But I was always fascinated with business people for whatever reason. I mean, I just thought it was so cool that they got to dress up and they got to go to work or wherever it is they were doing. So, that was a little bit about how I grew up, what I was fascinated by. I actually learned to play the piano at a very young age and played the piano for a number of years. Didn't really like it. I did it because I had lessons being paid for by my grandparents, but I went and did it. And I regret quitting piano lessons. I look back at it now and go, I wish I never quit. But that was 10 years ago. So I'm very rusty in playing, but it'll take me some time to practice. So, those are some of the things that I loved growing up and going to the beach and doing all the outdoorsy stuff.
Uh, when you started working, what were your early jobs, or did you have any that were maybe a little unusual?
So my very first job was when I was 16 years old. And I was very excited because it was a job, but I was literally canning pineapple. So so pineapple obviously is a big agricultural crop in the islands, and worked in this big factory, and it was dole. I mean, they would recruit a lot of the teenagers during the summer to help them with this. I lasted 2 weeks. I couldn't stand it. I mean, I had to get up at 4 in the morning, and so that was my very first job. But my real job was banking. I mean, I started in banking and working for a bank in Hawaii, and that was really where I learned my craft and worked in the industry and got to work with businesses. There's some in between there, but we don't have time for that. But that at least gives you an idea.
And that sounds like that set you on the path to lead you to where you are now? Like banking is a piece of what you're doing, I assume.
Yeah, most definitely. I laugh about it now because I was not a fan of math, but working in banking, you better know your numbers. And so it did. I was fortunate that I was able to move up in my career. And very early on in my career, I worked for business banking. And that is where I had my first experience working with businesses. I mean, I wasn't a business banker, I worked on the administrative side, but I was just fascinated by business. And that really helped me grow in my career. And so most of my banking career was spent working with businesses. And that really was the starting point in getting the experience.
Okay. And coming back to your company now, you kind of touched on the services, but do you want to expand on what specific products and services that you're helping people with?
Sure. So I like to say they fall into what I call the 5 C's. So capital. So if a business has a financing need, so whether it is equipment, whether it's buying a building for their business, whether it's buying an existing business, they need operating capital, they just have a financing need. We can help them source a financing option or options. We'll review their financials. And so that's one of our core services. The other C is certifications. And I alluded to that a little bit earlier. And so certifications are certain designations that depending on the ownership of the business that they can pursue. So if they are a woman owned, minority owned, veteran owned business, for example, they can apply for these certifications that could potentially give them access to government contracts or doing business with large corporate entities. And so that's another C and part of our service. The other C is contracting. So they may have an interest in contracting opportunities. And it doesn't mean contractor like construction. It just means it could be any business, service, or product base. And maybe they want to do business with the city of Las Vegas or Reno or state of Nevada, for example, or even the federal government. There are a lot of opportunities out there for businesses. And many times they just don't know where to start, where to go. And we help them get corporate and government ready, so to speak, so that when those opportunities come, they know how to approach it. The other C is connection. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile or my business card, part of my title says Chief Business Matchmaker. And so sometimes we have clients or businesses that really don't know anyone, but they want to make a connection, right? They want to get a foot in the door to do business with someone. And so we can help with that. And if we're not able to, then we certainly will find someone that maybe does have that connection and that can open the door, because you and I both know a warm introduction, there's nothing like a warm introduction. And I'm not a big cold caller fan, whereas other people might like it. So that's part of our other C, are just making those connections. And then the other thing that we do is collaboration. So we are advocates, supporters of businesses working together. And so part of what we do is, if we're not able to help a client, then we're going to find someone, another business that can help that client. And that's what I mean by collaboration. We want to be that go to business solutions provider for a business, that if they think business need, business issue, we're going to be the first one that they think of, because our approach is very holistic, right? Never transactional. And so that gives you at a very high level some of the services we provide. And of course, consulting. That is who we are. That's what we do. And that rounds up our C's.
It always strikes me how much you must know to make all that happen, but it's always delivered with this warmth. And I admire that quite a bit. Maybe you could tell us a little, like, what is it like working with you? Maybe your approach or your process. How does that look?
Yeah, so people, businesses, they find us through a number of different channels. So fortunately, I always say I'm very grateful. A lot of our business comes through referrals. So this could be through an existing client, a past client. They find us online, so through our website. I also do workshops, as you know, Ben, and webinars, and so they find us that way as well. And so we do provide initial free consultation, and they say nothing is free. Well, we do, it's free. It's our time that we're providing. And in all transparency is the goal for branding, in the hopes that they need our services, sure. But a lot of them truly are needing some advice. And so we do provide an initial consultation. Our approach is we want to know you and we want to know the business, because we cannot help you unless we get an understanding about who you are, what your business is, what you do, what products or services you provide. So we like to ask questions. This gets us into what the business is about, why are they contacting us? And so when I say the holistic approach, we want to know what's going on. We want the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And so, as you know, the journey of being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. It's never a straight road. And so our approach is very boutique and concierge style. We always want the client to feel that they matter, they're important. So whether you are a client that pays us $500 or that pays us, $10,000, it would be great to have more of those, by the way. But whatever it might be, we're going to treat every client the same in terms of our interaction. Now, we do create customized solutions for them based on the need, but it's always holistic and big picture. It's never a horse blinder approach.
Is there anything that people misunderstand or don't realize about the work that you do?
Yes. I think part of that is because we position ourselves as this one-stop business solutions provider. There's a lot of services that we provide, but we do have our core services. So in order to tell a business what we do, we've trimmed it down to those 5 C's, because we can offer 20 plus different services. And so occasionally we still get the question, well, what do you do? And so we really try to capture that in a couple sentences, and hoping that makes sense. At the end of the day, we're advisors. We are consulting businesses and helping them navigate through something or some issue.
That makes perfect sense. I have some questions that are a little more on the personal side. The next one is about maybe books that you enjoy, or what's a book that you have gifted or would recommend and like to share with people?
Yeah, great question. So I would say the one book that personally I've been gifted more than once is Traction by Gina Wickman. And so this has to do with the EOS, or the Entrepreneur Operating System. Truth be told, I've yet to finish that book, but I have started reading it. So that's one where I've been gifted. A book that I was gifted last year that I've started reading is Extreme Leadership, and it's written by a former Navy SEAL. And so that's a fascinating book. I feel that there's so many great business books out there, that it's hard to pick just one. But if you want a super simple, easy read that you could probably get through in an hour, if not two, is The 1 Minute Manager. It's a short read, it's big print, so it makes you feel good when you finish the book. But there's a lot of great nuggets in there, especially as an owner, as a leader, or striving to be in a leadership position.
Yeah, and there's something about reading a book that stood the test of time. It's not the book of the moment. And that one has been like at the top of the heap for a long time.
Yes.
The regard people have.
Mm-hmm.
Want to ask some questions about Las Vegas. So, what made you move from the eighth island to the ninth? How long have you been here? What's your experience? What's Las Vegas like now as compared to when you first got here?
Wow. So the easy answer is what, because I get that question all the time. Why would you ever move from Hawaii here? You know, it's culture shock. You don't have the ocean and palm trees, but it really was a job opportunity. That's what made me move here. And no secret, cost of living is high in Hawaii. It continues to skyrocket. And so it wasn't an easy decision because I was leaving a lot behind. But I have been here since November of 1997. So I've been here a long time. But I do go back home, so to speak, to get my island fix. So, and then as far as how it's changed, I remember as if it was yesterday. So it was for a job opportunity. And at the time, uh, Rainbow stopped at Tropicana. So think of there was no Southwest. Think of Summerlin Parkway, and nothing was past Rampart, I believe. So development wise, it's changed a lot. I wish I bought land when I moved here, but that's another story. And it's just evolved. You know, Las Vegas is sports and entertainment capital of the world. We could not say sports capital of the world just a few years ago. And the fact that we can say that today just shows how much the city has grown and evolved. And people continue to move here, you know, and we can thank some of our neighboring states for that. But, you know, we are in a place where it's great for business, you know, and we've got this great ecosystem and we've got great community. And I think a lot of times people just see Las Vegas as a Las Vegas strip. And yes, that drives a lot of what is happening in this great city. But there's a lot that goes beyond the strip that is happening, you know, businesses creating jobs, people working. So I could go on this topic, but I remember getting off the flight and just saying, I think I made the worst decision of my life, seeing brown and mountain, you know, not seeing the greenery like I'm used to, but it's been a great move, you know, and you have to make the best of it, and that's what I did.
I agree with you. On everything you said, but especially about the desert is a beautiful thing. And I grew up around greenery myself, and it took a little while for my eyes to adjust. But I love both the strip and the desert around it. Like it's a place like no other. You're very active in the community, especially networking. What are some groups or organizations that help you connect with people in the Valley?
Another great question, Ben. There are so many groups, so many organizations. I don't know if I could pick one, to be honest with you. I would tell you when I was in bank, a given. They support the chambers, and we have a lot of them here. And they are great places to go to, or not places, but events to go to, whether it's a chamber breakfast or luncheon or mixer, if you're looking to meet people, you know. But we also have a lot of trade organizations. So whether it's, you know, Nevada Contractors Association, whether it's crew for commercial real estate for women. I mean, there are so many. This is going to be a plug for you, Ben. You know, you do a great networking calendar with network.vegas. And I refer that link to a number of people when they're saying, what event should I go to? Where should I go to? You really do a great job in just listing everything that's happening around the Valley. I would say this, you know, what are you trying to accomplish? What is your purpose? I'm a strong believer in being intentional with your time. Your time is valuable. So if you're looking to connect with other women in business, right, there are groups that are women focused. So whether it's Crew, whether it's NABO, whether it's Power, there's so many, or it could be construction focused. So find what speaks to you. Who are you trying to meet? And then look at Ben's calendar and network.vegas and plan it out, plan it out on which ones speak to you.
Well, thank you for a beautiful answer and a lot of praise. I always accept praise.
You're welcome.
Are there any other groups or organizations that are doing great work in the Valley? And you might find this overlaps a little bit, but maybe it's business or community organizations or nonprofits.
Yeah, I mean there are so many. I'll give you my top list only because these are ones that we support. So you have organizations like Dress for Success Southern Nevada. They support women who are unemployed and who may not have attire to go on a job interview or need some guidance on how to prepare resumes. So they do great work in the community. I sat on their board for a number of years. You also have the Nevada Women's Business Center. They're a local nonprofit that's funded by the government. And so they provide technical assistance to both women in business or women starting business, but as well as men. About 30% of their clients they serve are men. You also have something that's relatively new to Nevada, and it's the Veterans Business Outreach Center. And we have been without one for a very long time. And so we finally got grant funding where there is now a Veterans Business Outreach Center for veterans and people who have served, who are looking to start a business or already are in business. And then you have Project 150, and this is near and dear to me because unfortunately we have a very high number of homeless teens and youth in our valley, and that's part of what they do is help provide support services for those homeless and displaced teens who may not have clothing or food, and they also support the families of those teens. So, I mean, I could go on and just give you so many other organizations, but those are the ones that definitely come to mind.
We're very blessed to have a generous community, and these organizations are doing great work.
They are, yes.
A little more on Vegas, a little more fun. What's your favorite meal in Las Vegas?
What haven't I eaten, Ben? That's the question. I mean, we have so many great restaurants that I struggle to go, where's a good place to eat? Because we have so much to choose from. So I'm more of a casual diner, semi, casual. I'm not really big into fine dining, but there's some amazing fine dining restaurants. So I like Honey Salt in the Summerlin area. I think they have a great menu. The Martini, which is literally across the street from there, and they're a woman-owned bar lounge, but their food is amazing. Especially if you want a great burger or a great steak. I feel like we have all these hidden gems that are around the valley. What else? There's some really great coffee shops and cafes, So I think of Mothership Coffee, Makers and Finders, Cafe Lola. I mean, and then Leafs and Grounds. I just found out about Leafs and Grounds a few weeks ago. They're in the Southwest, and they have a great menu. They make everything in-house. So we can go have an entire podcast on just food and still run out of options. So those are just a few of my favorites.
That's a great list. And there's a couple on there that I haven't been to in a while or need to try. So last Vegas question, what are your favorite spots to view the city?
Ooh, so I think you get some amazing views up at Red Rock. Definitely, if you want to get more of the Touristy spots, I would say Ghost Bar is very cool at the top of the Palms. Legacy Club at top of Circa. There's a number of them, but I would say if you want nature and really get the view from a distance, I think Red Rock can definitely give that to you. I'm sure there's a lot of other places, but those are what comes to mind.
That's a great list. All
Thank
right. So our final question is, if you had a phrase or a quote or an idea that you could just share with millions of people, what would that be?
Wow. I'm a I'm a quote person. There are so many quotes that I can share, but one that I came across recently, and I'm going to say two. So I think sometimes as business owners or even, individuals, we may be perfectionists or want to get something perfect before we start a project or before we start something. And I call it POP, progress over perfection. So if you can just progress and take little steps and just do it, because nothing's ever going to be perfect. That's just the reality, but at least you can make progress towards getting there. So that's one. And then the other one is visibility plus credibility equals profitability. And so of course, I'm a business advisor, so I've got to pull in a business quote there, but it's true. If you're in business, you need to be visible and you have to be credible. This is a small town and word travels really fast. So, if you say you're going to commit to something or promise something, you better be sure that you do it, because if you don't, word travels fast, and then it can equal profitability if you're doing a great job. So those are the two that come to mind right away.
Those are definitely pearls.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank you so much. I've enjoyed talking with you, as I always do. If somebody wants to get in touch with you after this, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. So please, find me on LinkedIn. Let's connect. We also have a page for Nevada Business Advisors. The other way is by email, info@nevadabusinessadvisors.com. And then our office number, 702-805-8900. But I would say definitely email or LinkedIn is going to be the best way to connect. And if we can be of value and you just have a question or you need some direction, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Well, thank you very much again. Really enjoyed talking with you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.